Right then, this is a quick walk around video for a fabulous Honda CR-V. This is a 2.2 EX automatic diesel, 63 plate with just 64,000 miles on the clock. Finished in this lovely grey, full black leather interior. Also comes with exterior styling packs. It's got the strips on the front and rear bumpers and the Honda side steps. They're all very subtle, but they really do make the car, give it just more substance in my opinion. And it's a really clean car, this one. Very well maintained. Front of the car, by the way, very clean. Lights and lenses clear, intact, no cracks or condensation there. Bonnet, very clean indeed. Can't see any obvious stone chips. There will be something there, but I can't see anything. Near side, very clean down the panels. No car park indentations. This side front alloy, generally very good. Suddenly did a pick up just to start the video, which is enormously frustrating, but there we go. Near side rear alloy, again, absolutely fantastic. Around the back of the car, and generally very clean. You can see the little silver trim at the bottom there. And the off side of the car, driver's side, again, very smooth down the panels. Can't see any car parking dinks. Very clean car as well. Front side rear alloy, again, very nice. Panels, very good indeed. There's going to be the odd trivial mark somewhere on the car, but it's not one of these cars where they jump out at you. It's one where you have to have a good look. Come to the boot area of the car, absolutely enormous boots. CR-Vs are family cars and quite often be very heavily used, and yet the back of this one is one of the cleanest I've seen. Coming to the back, wide opening rear doors, almost 90 degrees. Enormous amount of legroom. It's almost limousine-like in the back, and the front seats are set for me. Leatherwork is in lovely condition, really lovely for this age car. The front now on the passenger side, very clean and tidy. Full set of tailored mats. And passenger seat there in very nice condition. Finally come to the driver's door card. Again, like the others, really clean and tidy. Footwell arrows on driver's side, very clean. And driver's seat for an 11-year-old car in fabulous condition. So inside the car, engine's running through this section, so the dash is illuminated. Dashboard again in absolutely lovely condition. Sat nav, you can see, working exactly as it should. And that complements the rear parking camera, which is crystal clear, and that complements the front and rear parking sensors fitted to the car. Carrying on down, it's just been kept in lovely condition. Come to the dashboard binnacle, hopefully you can see 64,868 miles. There are no warning lights on the dashboard at all whilst the engine's running. Finally, just to show you, owner's manual pack and lock and wheel nut key, all here and present with the car. Right then, this is a quick road test video, and this is for a Honda CR-V, and it's a 2.2 EX automatic diesel. Car's registered LJ63PFA, with a mileage of 64,873 recorded. The reason for all of our videos, as I always say, and especially this section, the road test bit, is to ensure that if anyone's online looking at any of the cars we're selling, they get to see that very car actually in operation. We've always felt it important, mostly because, unfortunately, like lots and lots of people, we've been to see cars which have looked absolutely fine in photographs or description, but only to get there and find out it's actually got an obvious fault that shows up when you drive the car, and that can be really frustrating if you've travelled any kind of distance. It's also done on these really quiet country roads in this absolutely beautiful part of Gloucestershire, and this actually forms part of the test route we take our customers on, and the hope is, of course, it'll be representative of what you'd feel yourself should you go on a drive in the car. So coming to the car, clearly been a very well maintained vehicle. Push button start, engine starts instantly and settles to a completely smooth, even idle. There are no warning lights on the dashboard at all relating to the engine or any other part of the car, and temperature gauge is running at a third, which is exactly where it's meant to be on a Honda vehicle. I've always maintained Honda build the best engines in the world, in the real world of motoring. That's owning and running and using them, and this is a fantastic diesel engine. It really is. Honda aren't great fans of diesels, never have been. So when they produce something, they try and, make the very best that it can be, and they've done a fantastic job with it. It's got all the qualities you expect of a Honda, so tough and reliable with just good regular maintenance. They're timing chain driven, so there's no cam belts to worry about, but it's just how it drives. It's a weird thing, turbo diesels, because you can get into some cars, especially the smaller capacity ones, and they fly along. They're quick, they're economical, but they can be quite frustrating, I find, where because of the lack of capacity in the engine, you put your foot down, you've got to wait for the turbo to start, then the turbo goes, but then it dies away quite quickly, so you have actually a deceptively small narrow power band. This is the complete opposite. It right from above tick over, it's starting to pull, and it pulls with almost a linear fashion all the way through to its red line. But when it does rev, it does so very smoothly. It just picks up and goes. It's got the advantage of having a internal balancer shaft in the engine, and that helps smooth things out. But again, it's not always a given that an automatic and diesel will work well together. They should, but it doesn't always. Sometimes you end up with a gearbox which is very indecisive. It doesn't know kind of what gear it wants to go in, because you've got the engine trying to work out what, with the turbo and everything else going on. There's lots of things having to come together to make it good. And so I've driven some cars and they've been horrible, really have. But this has always worked well. We've owned loads of these. We currently own an automatic CR-V, exactly the same as this. We love it. It is brilliant if you do towing. It's the best tow car we've ever used by a country mile. But on the move, the engine's quiet. The gearbox, in terms of kind of the gear shifts, they're almost all but imperceptible in the gear changes. The gearbox itself, again, very strong indeed. Honda, when they first launched this car, didn't actually have a automatic, or last generation, because it uses the same combination. So rather than develop a completely new gearbox, they utilised one at the Honda Legend, the flagship model, which is 300 horsepower, because the torque demands of it, the diesel would be too strong for a smaller gearbox to cope with, and as a result of that, you end up with a gearbox which has given us no issues whatsoever over the years. Notwithstanding that, you should still do all the same checks on the gearbox. Just make sure that on the move the gear changes are smooth, and they are. But almost more importantly, when you select drive or reverse from stationary, you don't get a sudden clunk as it engages or thud. And again, absolutely nothing in that respect. So, but again, with this mileage, you wouldn't expect it to be anything other than it is. Then we come onto the steering and chassis of the car. Steering nicely weighted, it's positive, it's accurate, it never makes the car feel nervous, and it works beautifully with the chassis. Because as I always say in the CR-V videos, these are not sports cars, they're not meant to be, but I actually think it's as great an achievement in terms of the chassis design as an S2000 or Type R chassis is in its own way, because its design criteria is to give you a ride that's comfortable for your family, but because it's a taller vehicle, it's got to be able to go through corners without lolloping about, and a lot of manufacturers struggle with that. They give you either a pillowy soft ride, which can initially feel absolutely lovely, but then you start throwing in corners like this one, or more challenging roads, and you find them just swaying about, particularly lots of the kind of the secondary motions, which are the ones that are really nauseating, especially for people sat in the back. And the CR-V, the body control is absolutely brilliant. It really is. It's very, very accomplished, this car, and that was completely missed by the motor compressors, is nearly always the case. Worth pointing out, by the way, absolutely no clonks, rattles, anything from underneath the vehicle. It's all solid as a rock. Steering tracks nice and straight. There's no vibrations at this speed, or any speed actually up to the legal limit. And then we come inside the car. As you expect of a Honda, very well put together cars. They really are. They're very solid cars. You've got fantastic visibility around the vehicles. When you sit in it, you don't feel intimidated in any way. You've got these huge wing mirrors either side, and again that helps with kind of manoeuvring, lane changing, or reversing back. And the dashboard itself layout is so simple for a very highly equipped car. You've got sat nav mounted up nice and high, one of the nicest systems you're going to use. It might be relatively old-fashioned by modern standards, but actually works brilliantly well. Down below that, you've got a dual zone climate control system, so you can have different temperatures side to side if you really want to. And that pumps out absolutely ice cold air, by the way. Heated seats again, all working exactly as they should. As is always the case with Hondas, if you twist anything or press any buttons, you're greeted with a lovely, satisfying, high-quality, damped feel to all of the controls. It's beautifully engineered. And then directly in front of me, dash binnacle, crisp white on black dials. Less is more, as is often the case, and it just works beautifully. And then finally got this lovely leather-bound steering wheel, which, like the rest of the interior, is in fantastic condition as well. This is a four-wheel drive version of the CR-V, albeit you're not going to find any buttons to press because there are none. It does it all for you. The system works very simply. Honda worked out that most of its customers will be doing what I'm doing right now, which is where I don't need four-wheel drive, just driving in perfectly good conditions. So it runs in two-wheel drive, front-wheel drive, pretty much the whole time. It's only if it needs to go into four-wheel drive, the car will do so. So if you pulled away on a bit of mud, snow, ice, whatever happened to be, before you could ever react, it's already brought in the rear wheels to give you four-wheel drive, and seamlessly. And it's brilliantly effective, really is. The advantages of the system are patently obvious. You're going to use less fuel, get through your tyres less quickly, and put far less mechanical stress through the vehicle. So much so that I always say, in nearly 3 decades selling these, and we've sold thousands of them, we've not so much as put a spanner on one in terms of the four-wheel drive systems from memory, and that's genuinely the case as well. Point of the video, as I mentioned, is literally just to show the car operating, but to sort of feedback on anything obvious, there is nothing. It drives absolutely beautifully.